What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2019 Chevy Silverado High Country. Now this video is kind of going to be like a top 5, I'm not even going to call it top 5, just 5 features about the High Country that you may not know about. Now these are significant to a degree, but not ones that kind of plaster the promotional material, but are still cool nonetheless. Now to address the hat, 2 things. 1, I got a haircut. Got to give it some time to, even itself out. And 2, my Louisville Cardinals are back in the College World Series yet again, so I have to represent. Gameplay starts this weekend. Very excited about that. But let's go ahead and get into the video. Now, the 2019 Chevy Silverado High Country is one of the most expensive Chevy models that you can buy. This one in particular comes in at $62,790. It's not exactly on par with, say, a high-end Corvette or Camaro, but it is by far the most expensive truck in the lineup. So it has all the bells and whistles, most things that you'd picture that a higher-end truck would have, but I wanted to find a few things that you may not know about, so let's look at the key fob. Now that may sound ordinary to you, most cars have a key fob nowadays, but this one has those standard things, a lock, unlock, a remote start even, alarm, and then to drop the tailgate, but there's a couple hidden secrets in it that we're going to talk about. So first has to do with the side mirrors. Now a lot of vehicles, when you lock the car, the side mirrors will fold in automatically. When you unlock, they'll unfold automatically. This doesn't do it automatically, but it can be done. Now, if yours does not do this when you try it at home, it may be because you have to enable a setting on the entertainment center, which I'll show you how to do real quick. And now once that setting is enabled, you should be able to do this every time. So it's a little weird, but it makes sense if you think about it. So if you want to fold them in, which you'd be doing if you were leaving the car or getting out or locking it, you're gonna do that. Press and hold the lock button. And they're gonna fold in. And then, obviously, if you wanted to get back in the car, drive away, you're gonna need your side mirrors. So you're gonna press and hold the unlock button. And they'll fold right out. So that's number 1. Folding side mirrors with the key fob. Now let's keep talking about the key fob real quick. You can also do remote start by pressing and holding remote start. But there's one more cool feature on the remote that I want to look at. And that's the tailgate. Now, obviously it's got a number 2 next to it. So you guessed it, 2 times, here it comes. Now you could do it the easy way and you could go over here and push the button underneath, raise it back up, or just lift it by hand. But that's not what we're gonna do. They don't make it easy to know this because it's nowhere on here, but if you press the button 1 time and hold it, here she comes, all the way back up. So you can raise and lower the tailgate on the 2019 Silverado High Country, all using the remote. Let's head on inside. So we looked at the key fob and its hidden features. Number 1 being how you can use the lock and unlock buttons to fold and unfold your side mirrors. Number 2 being how you can lower the tailgate as well as raise it using the tailgate lowering button. So those are our first 2 things. Now number 3 we're going to take a look at is inside, and it may be obvious if you look at the label on the button, but I think some people don't really know that it exists or don't really use it. I've never pushed it because it's kind of out of the routine of how you would normally do things, and that is the button that you would lower all the windows. So if you've got the car turned on and there's a button, and I'll show it on screen here, just press that button once. Every single window in the cockpit will lower. Now, unfortunately, I don't think that you can raise them all back up with that button. Oh. I've tried and I can't get it to work. It doesn't really lift the other way. It only goes down. So unfortunately, to my knowledge, and tell me in the comments below if there's a way to do it, I don't think that you can lower or you can raise the windows back up once you've lowered them without using just your normal window buttons on the side. Luckily on the High Country, your driver's and passenger side windows go up automatically. You'll have to roll up the rear ones manually. So anyway, that's the third one. Now, number 4 is kind of a weird one because it's dependent on Chevy providing a software update to the Silverado. I'm not sure why they haven't pushed it yet because it's available on the Blazer and possibly on the Camaro too. But from what I've read, it will be available by year's end. And so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it, banking on the fact that it'll be available in a couple months. But the feature specifically is Marketplace. Now, you may be asking yourself, I've got access to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. I can access any of those apps, anything that they can provide. Why do I need an in-vehicle entertainment center app store? And I wholeheartedly agree with you. But nonetheless, it's there. And there's one specific thing that I think is kind of neat and I could see myself taking advantage of if I had it on my vehicle. And that is the Amazon in-vehicle delivery system. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how Amazon Key works, essentially when you order a package from Amazon, you have the option to have them deliver in your home specifically. So if you have a corresponding smart locking system, Amazon will give their delivery people a one-time access code that they can use to place your package inside your front door, kind of preventing porch pirates and small theft from your porch, which is a huge deal. And so this is a similar type thing where vehicles that have this feature, you'll be able to order things and then they will receive a one-time access code to place it inside your vehicle where it's more safe than dropping it off at your front porch. So that's a really cool feature that I could see myself using a lot. I order a lot of stuff on Amazon. I have a lot of stuff coming to my house, and sometimes with something maybe more expensive, maybe some kind of electronic or some jewelry or something along those lines, you may not want it sitting on your front porch while you're at work or on vacation. And so you want Amazon to put it just smack dab in your car, right where you can get to it wherever you are, where you're safe and it's safe. So I think that's a cool feature. Again, it's not available yet on the Silverados. There's no marketplace if you scroll through. You can go to apps, and then if you look on the apps, there's not even a place to download any apps. Like, you would think if you click apps, there would be apps there, but there's no apps. So hopefully we'll be getting marketplace soon in the Silverados with a software update, and you'll be able to access this feature. So that's really cool. Now, one more thing I want to throw in before we leave the entertainment center is that you do have a degree of customization when it comes to your app layout. So much like you would on your smartphone, you're just going to press the screen on whatever app you want to move, hold down, and then you can drag around and reposition apps to wherever you want. So you can make the home page or the first page exactly how you want it to look, exactly where you want your apps to be, and not have to rely on the default placement. Let's say you don't ever use the My Chevrolet section, move that to the next page, get it off the home screen. You don't use Android Auto or you don't use Apple CarPlay, just get them off there. Just customize it to how you want it, just like you would your smartphone. I think that's really cool. Not a lot of people talk about that, so there's a little extra one. Let's move on to number 5. All right, now number 5 has to do with the rear view mirror camera. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the rear view mirror camera is, there's a second camera. On the Silverados, it's on the bed light area. On other vehicles, it's right next to the normal rear vision camera, but it pipes directly into your rear view mirror. And just like the name suggests, you can either use it as a standard mirror or you can flick the switch, and now you have a camera view right there that correlates directly to what's behind your vehicle. Now, for someone that's not used to having a camera here like this, it's a little startling sometimes. Even for me, when I drive these cars a lot that have these, it's hard to get used to. It's pretty zoomed in, and it seems like kind of cars are right behind you when they're not usually. And it's just not as normal or settling as your traditional mirror. So there's a couple things you can do with this. Now, once you've got it enabled by flicking this switch here, you've got some buttons here. Now, what these buttons are going to let you do is switch between a couple different adjustments that you can make, and then these buttons over here allow you to actually make those adjustments. So the first one is the brightness. Now, once you push the button one time, you'll have access to brightness. Right now it's full brightness. You can go ahead and drop that down, depending on whatever you like. It's really a preference thing at that point, or maybe if it's dark, you want to crank the brightness down a little bit so it's not blinding you while you're trying to drive at night. So that exists there. Now, if you push this button on the left again, you're gonna switch to zoom, and this is the one I like. Currently it's fully zoomed in, but if I press the, let's go back to that. If I press the minus button here, zoom out once, zoom out twice, and then you are at as wide as it can go. And I prefer this much more than the fully zoomed in version because it feels a little bit more like a traditional rearview mirror. So that exists, but if you like the more zoomed in, you can switch it and go all the way back to that. Now, the third thing you can do, the final thing, is you can adjust the camera height. Now, I think this is more prevalent probably on trucks because of the placement of the camera. On cars, it's a lot lower to the ground, and I don't know, you can probably still do this adjustment if you want to, but I don't know if it's as important. Nonetheless, you can do it on the trucks, and it's helpful. So if you go back to that, and then you use these arrows, you can bump that camera position up and down. Now, the camera doesn't physically move, it's just a software kind of adjustment there. But nonetheless, that's looking more towards the ground. And then if you want to bump it all the way up, you completely lose sight of the cement down there and you have a higher view. So not essential things, but things you may not know about. So that is number 5. Now those are 5, maybe 5.5 things that you probably didn't know that your Silverado High Country could do. Now, if we missed something, leave it in the comments below. Tell us what it is. I'm really curious to find that out. Drop a like on the video if you loved it. Subscribe for more content on the 2019 Silverado and a ton of other cars. We've got Volkswagen, Subaru, Hyundai, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. We've got it all here. So hit that subscribe button for more content on all those vehicles, and we'll see you in the next one.